In the cold, grey days of February 1957, the city of Philadelphia was shrouded in the grip of winter. The trees stood bare, their limbs stretched out like skeletal fingers over the bramble-choked undergrowth of Fox Chase, a quiet neighborhood on the city's outskirts. It was here, in a forgotten patch of woods, that a haunting discovery would leave an indelible mark on American history. A mystery so profound that it would come to be known simply as the boy in the box. It began with a cardboard box, battered and discarded, nestled among the tangled brush. Inside lay the small, lifeless body of a young boy. He was estimated to be around 4 years old, his hair freshly cut, his nails trimmed, his skin pale with the cold hush of death. He wore no clothes. There were bruises on his body, scars from what appeared to be surgical procedures, and signs of malnourishment, hints of a life marked by pain and neglect. Yet there was something else, a deep sense of mystery. Who was this child? How had he come to be here, alone and unnamed, as if erased from the world before he ever had a chance to live in it? When the authorities arrived, they were struck not just by the tragedy of the boy's death, but by the utter absence of clues. There were no witnesses, no missing child reports that matched his description, no frantic parents searching for a lost son. The police scoured the area, searching for any shred of evidence that might explain his fate. They examined the box, once used to ship a bassinet, and traced it to a local store, but the trail quickly went cold. Word spread rapidly, and the mystery of the unidentified boy captured the attention of the entire city, and soon, the nation. Newspapers dubbed him the boy in the box, and his face, reconstructed from the morgue photograph, was plastered on flyers and posters. The Philadelphia police distributed over 400,000 leaflets, hoping that someone, somewhere, might recognize the child. Volunteers canvassed neighborhoods, knocked on doors, and combed through countless files of missing children. But no one came forward. No one claimed the body. As days turned to weeks, the investigation intensified. Police and detectives followed every possible lead, no matter how tenuous. The boy's fingerprints and footprints were taken and compared against hospital and government records. Local doctors and nurses were questioned about the surgical scars found on his body. Theories began to emerge, each more desperate than the last. Some speculated that he was an orphan, abandoned by a mother who could not care for him. Others wondered if he was a victim of human trafficking, or the child of a transient family passing through the city. Rumors spread that he might be the illegitimate offspring of a local family, hidden away in shame and secrecy. Forensic experts of the time did what little they could, but the technology of the 1950s was limited. The boy's hair and fingernails were analyzed, but no conclusive evidence emerged. The box itself, while traced to a nearby JCPenney store, yielded no clues as to who purchased it. The blanket that wrapped the child was examined, but its origin could not be determined. The police even went so far as to dress a mannequin in similar fashion to the boy and display it in public, hoping it would jog someone's memory. Still, silence. The city buried the boy in a potter's field, giving him the only name they could, America's unknown child. For the detectives who worked the case, he became an obsession. Many took the mystery to their graves, haunted by the image of the small, battered boy who had been denied even the dignity of a name. As the years wore on, the legend of the boy in the box only grew. He became a symbol of lost innocence, a child whose death was both a tragedy and a riddle. In the decades that followed, the case would be revisited time and again, each time with renewed hope and fresh eyes. New detectives inherited the files, poring over yellowed photographs and brittle evidence. Television programs, true crime writers, and amateur sleuths took up the cause, convinced that the answer was out there, just waiting to be discovered. But the central questions remained as chilling as ever. Who was he? Why was no one looking for him? And how could a young child simply vanish from the world, leaving behind no trace but a battered box and a broken body? Theories continued to proliferate. Some investigators believe the boy had been raised in an abusive home, perhaps hidden away from neighbors and relatives. Others speculated that he had been abandoned by a desperate mother, perhaps a teenage girl who gave birth in secret and could not care for him. There were whispers of foster homes, illegal adoptions, and even organized crime involvement. Each theory brought with it new leads and new dead ends. In the 1990s, advances in forensic science brought fresh hope to the case. The boy's body was exhumed, and DNA samples were extracted in the hope of matching them to living relatives. But the DNA databases of the time were still in their infancy, and no matches were found. The boy's remains were reburied, this time with a proper headstone bearing the words, "Heavenly Father, bless this unknown boy." Still, the case refused to fade from memory. It became a fixture in the annals of American true crime, a touchstone for the power of unresolved mysteries. Detectives, journalists, and armchair investigators launched websites and forums dedicated to piecing together the puzzle. Theories were dissected, clues re-examined, and every possible angle explored. Yet, with every new generation, the story seemed to grow colder, the truth slipping ever further from reach. Then, in the early 21st century, the world of forensic science was transformed by the rise of genetic genealogy, a revolutionary technique that used DNA to trace family lineages across generations. For the first time, it became possible to identify unknown victims and perpetrators by matching their genetic material to distant relatives. The technique had already cracked open several high-profile cold cases, most notably the Golden State Killer, and hope surged that it might finally bring answers to the boy in the box. In 2019, investigators once again exhumed the boy's body, this time with the goal of extracting high-quality DNA. The samples were sent to specialized labs where they were painstakingly sequenced and analyzed. Months turned into years as genealogists painstakingly built family trees, following the delicate threads of shared genetic markers across continents and generations. Finally, in December 2022, after more than 65 years of heartbreak and speculation, the unthinkable happened. The boy in the box was identified. His name was Joseph Augustus Zarelli, born on January 13, 1953. He had lived just 4 short years before his life was so brutally cut short. The breakthrough came through the tireless work of forensic genealogists, who traced his DNA to a family in the region and confirmed his identity through living maternal relatives. The revelation sent shockwaves through the community of investigators and true crime enthusiasts who had followed the case for decades. After so many years, the boy finally had a name, a chance to be remembered not as a symbol, but as a person. Joseph Augustus Zarelli, a child with a past, a family, and a story. Yet, even as one mystery was solved, others only deepened. The central haunting question remained. What happened to Joseph? Why did no one report him missing? And who was responsible for his death? With the identification came a renewed push to solve the homicide. Detectives delved into Joseph's family history, seeking out relatives, friends, and anyone who might remember the child. But the passage of time had erased many memories, and those who might have known the truth were either deceased or unwilling to talk. The circumstances of Joseph's life and his death remained shrouded in secrecy. Authorities revealed that Joseph had been born into a prominent family in Philadelphia. His parents were both alive at the time of his death, but for reasons still unclear, had never reported him missing. Investigators were tight-lipped about the specifics, citing the ongoing investigation and the privacy of surviving family members. Theories once again flourished. Was Joseph the victim of abuse? Was he hidden away due to shame or scandal? Or was there a more complex web of circumstances that led to his tragic end? The answers may never be fully known, but Joseph's identification marked a turning point, not just for his own case, but for the field of forensic investigation as a whole. The success of genetic genealogy in solving the boy-in-the-box mystery inspired renewed efforts to apply the technique to other cold cases. offering hope to the families of countless other unidentified victims. In the wake of the breakthrough, Philadelphia's law enforcement community came together to honor Joseph's memory. His grave, once marked only by a simple headstone, was rededicated with a new marker bearing his true name. Mourners gathered to pay their respects, leaving flowers, toys, and notes at the site. For the first time, Joseph Augustus Zarelli was remembered not as a faceless victim, but as a beloved child, a son, a brother, a member of a family whose story had finally, if only partially, been told. Still, the shadow of the case lingers. The boy in the box remains an unsolved homicide, and police continue to urge anyone with information to come forward. The mystery has become a part of Philadelphia's collective memory, a cautionary tale about the dangers of secrecy and the power of perseverance. It stands as a testament to the tireless efforts of investigators, journalists, and ordinary citizens who refuse to let the boy's story be forgotten. As we reflect on the case of Joseph Augustus Zarelli, we are reminded of the enduring strength of hope, the belief that, no matter how much time has passed, the truth is never truly lost. It may be buried beneath years of silence and sorrow, but it can be unearthed by those who care enough to keep searching. In the end, Joseph's identification is more than just the solution to a mystery. It is a reclamation of humanity, a reminder that every life matters and that no one deserves to be forgotten. The chilling story of the boy in the box is a story of tragedy, but also of resilience. It is a tale of a city that refused to turn away from a nameless child, of investigators who chased every lead, and of a nation that kept asking questions, year after year. It is a reminder that even in the darkest of mysteries, there is always the possibility of light. Today, Joseph Augustus Zarelli is no longer a symbol of the unknown. He is, at last, a child remembered, a testament to the power of persistence, the miracles of modern science, and the enduring need for justice. His story continues to haunt, to inspire, and to challenge us to keep seeking the truth, no matter how elusive it may be. And so, the case remains open. The search for answers continues. But for the first time in more than 6 decades, there is hope that the final chapters of this haunting mystery may one day be written, bringing peace at last to the boy who now has a name.